The owner of a restaurant disguises himself as a destitute guy and visits his opulent restaurants. He is forced to make a decision that will make a lot of people cry because of the way his staff treat him. I want to share with you a tale that really moved me on this particular occasion. I hope you like this genuine story with a powerful message. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Don Juan, a wealthy businessman who owned esteemed eateries, was told he had heart cancer. He makes the decision to conduct good deeds and provide the worthy a better life in his final days. He shows up at one of the most exclusive restaurants in the nation looking as though he has been abandoned. Anything goes, and the manager emerges furiously from behind the counter, appalled by every diner's remark. The homeless man has entered the restaurant and the management is furious and orders him to leave right away. Don Juan, however, informs him he hasn't eaten in days and that he wants to eat anything. "If you don't have anything to eat, that's not my fault," the manager adds in response to the refusal. "After you get a job, take a shower and change your clothes, perhaps you can sit in front of this restaurant and watch the patrons eat. Never eat here, your sort." Don Juan was hearing things that he couldn't believe. He had spent so much time creating his restaurants with the intention of making them inclusive of all socioeconomic classes and emphasizing respect above all else. He made the decision to stay in the hopes that a different worker would stand up for him, but the reverse occurred. The boss emerges after a little while and inquires as to what's going on. In response, a waiter says, "This old man is hungry. He won't go and demands free meals." The chef becomes furious when he hears this and yells, "Look, bum, go behind the restaurant if you want free food. I have disposed of yesterday's waste. Proceed and assist yourself if you choose. Most likely it will be the greatest dinner you've ever eaten." The guard catches him by the arm and drags him out by force right away. Don Juan chose to visit another of his restaurants to check if the same thing would happen since he was so shocked by what had just transpired. He went inside the next one, which was in one of the nicest parts of the city, and a young woman came up to him right away. "Hey sir, where do you think you're going?" inquired the hostess who worked for her. He told her he was simply going to head out to get something to eat. With a giggle, the waitress went to her manager and said, "This guy says he's here to eat something." In response, the manager said, "Eat something? I don't think you have enough money, sir, to even purchase a piece of candy. The diners are moaning and you're making the restaurant smell horrible, so you best get out of here." Don Juan cooked up a tale, informing them that he used to frequent that restaurant and had money. He clarified that although he knew the owner, the bank had taken all of his assets due to a business disaster in which he lost everything. Then, as he would know the owner, he asked if they might give him a call. The manager asked, "Do you think I'm stupid?" while laughing. "I am the property's owner. Stop pleading now and go before I dial the cops." Don Juan, upset by the harsh comments, turned to go. He reasoned that if they were treating him like this, they were undoubtedly treating the less fortunate even worse. He then made the decision to go to the original restaurant in his network. Mr. Carlos, his right-hand guy, had been employed there from the start and had assisted him in expanding his company. At this point, Carlos held a significant position inside the organization. Don Juan went up to the counter and asked Carlos if he had any work to do when he got to the restaurant. Distracted at the moment, Carlos turned to look at him. Don Juan didn't think Carlos would recognize him. "Sir, with all due respect, do you think this is a soup kitchen?" asked Carlos. "Better get out of here before I call security." With disappointment, Don Juan said, "I just want a bit of bread, sir. Everyone pushes me out of the restaurants like I'm a beast because I'm starving." "Well, given your appearance, sir, it makes sense," Carlos said. "You're not without a house. Here, we don't feed beggars, only wealthy people." The remarks made by his old acquaintance infuriated Don Juan. He said, "How can you say that?" in reply. "I was really successful once, and I unintentionally lost everything. You are not capable of evil. I know deep down that you are an honest and kind man." "Let me tell you something," murmured Carlos as he leaned in. "I could care less that the old guy you talk about is dying of cancer. Thanks to me, he owns all of these eateries. He would be homeless just like you without me. I've put up with his bullshit about helping others for all these years because I know that everything will be mine once he passes away." Therefore, you ought to go now." At that time, Don Juan departed the restaurant with tears in his eyes. He was shocked to learn that the person closest to him just liked him for his restaurants and had such terrible opinions of him. He was injured and inconsolable. Don Juan kept going to his eateries, and he was treated the same way everywhere he went. The greatest restaurant in the city, the one on Main Street, was the one he still hadn't visited, even though it was becoming late. He had nothing left to lose, so he went, even though he was certain he would be treated the same. The place was full when he got there. Even though there wasn't a single table open, he chose to go in. "Excuse me, sir, do you need anything?" the watchman inquired as he stopped him. In response, Don Juan said, "I'm starving. I have gone to several eateries, but not a single one will even offer me a slice of bread. Could you please provide me some food?" When the watchman heard this, he requested him to wait outside the door before going inside to talk to the management. "Tell me, sir, how can I help you?" said the manager as he emerged upon seeing the elderly guy. Don Juan clarified, "I haven't had any food in days. Nobody will even offer me a slice of bread since I'm sick. They treat me like a street dog, humiliating me and chasing me away." After learning of this, the manager apologized and asked, "Sir, just wait a few minutes. We at this eatery like lending a hand to anyone in need. There will soon be a table available." Even after he waited outside and observed that tables were opening up, Don Juan was still not welcomed inside. For an instant, he wondered if the generosity was genuine. He seemed to believe none of what the manager had told him. It's possible that he left him outdoors in the hopes that he would feed him out of politeness, so that eventually he would end up withdrawing. The restaurant was nearly deserted at 1.5 hours later. Don Juan made the decision to depart after realizing he was not being invited inside. The manager caught up to him before he had gone more than half a block and said, "Where are you going?" As you can see, the table is prepared. Gazing intently inside the restaurant, the guy noticed that a big table, laden with an abundance of food, was situated in the center of the establishment. "You see, I've only been working in this restaurant for a year," the manager informed him. "I was a successful person once, but I was involved in an accident. I misplaced everything. There, I had to use every penny I had to save both my wife and myself. But the doctors were unable to rescue her, and she passed away. I also succumbed to booze and sadness. I eventually lost my house and was forced to live on the streets, where I begged for food until one day I came into this restaurant, where Don Juan helped. I'm a different guy today because of him, and I would like to do the same for you. He fed me and gave me a job. Look at me now." Don Juan received excellent treatment from every staff at the restaurant. They treated him like king or queen. They all gathered a little amount of money and gave it to him before saying farewell and waving him out the door. The manager eventually informed him, "The day after tomorrow, very early, you will take a shower and I myself will bring you some clothes so that you can start working here, as long as you want to accept our help, of course." The chef had given him some food to take away. Don Juan walked out of that restaurant sobbing. He made the decision to call all of his employees from each of his restaurants to the Main Street eatery the next day. Nobody knew who he was, even though they were all gathered there. He came in wearing a wanderer's outfit. He was requested to leave by the staff and management of the other eateries, who did not recognize him and assumed he was insane. However, the staff at the eatery on Main Street welcomed him and escorted him to the kitchen. The other workers were furious and found it hard to believe. Juan requested them to give him a moment there in the kitchen. He requested one of the other managers to notify the others of his impending arrival. He let the staff know, and they all hurried to meet him at the door, leaving Don Juan by alone in the kitchen. He emerged at the counter after a little while and inquired, "Why is everyone outside like this?" "I came earlier than expected." Startled by what they heard, the staff hurried in to see that although Don Juan had cleaned his face, his attire remained the same. At this point, everyone recognized the identity of the patrons of their eateries. Juan was quite direct and clear. After briefly discussing his principles with them, he let go of every employee who had mistreated him. Don Juan instructed them to never regret their deeds, even if they expressed sorrow, started crying, and begged for forgiveness, but never treat someone poorly because of their illness. "You've demonstrated to me that not everyone is kind. which is why I've made the decision that my successors will be all of the Main Street restaurant staff who were kind to me. I will hand up my eateries to them. For the rest of you, I assume you are aware that I don't have any family other than the ones who have shown me kindness. I sincerely apologize to everyone who mistreated me. I hope you can delve into your heart and become nice people, but you cannot stay a member of our family. I wish you the best in life. Don Juan made the decision to share with the workers who had shown him such kindness throughout his final days, up until the day of his passing. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.